Benefit at work is losing some of its generosity thanks in part to inflation. A survey from the Society for Resource Management finds that the percentage of companies offering paid maternity leave has dropped from 53 to 35%, with others trimming weeks off the benefit for new parents. Analysis now from Paul Seegert, managing partner at PCS Advisors, a benefits advisory firm. Paul, what's trending?
Well, I think we're in the midst of a shift. Many employers perceive that we are headed into tougher times economically, a recession, perhaps, and are preparing for it by reducing costs.
Okay,
and
so
we've seen maternity benefits grow consistently for the last 15 years, with the exception of one period of time, which was 2008, 2009, where we also had tough economic times. So I think they're preparing for a similar situation.
All right, so this can't be the greatest of recruiting tools, obviously, in this day and age. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I believe employers are those who are headed this direction, which, if you look at the overall marketplace, it is the case, although there are some outlier industries where they are not pulling back, that tend to be more white collar, as an example. But I think that employers who are making this move are under the belief that the pendulum is swinging in their direction in terms of the power out there in the hiring marketplace. They've been in a very tough period with the Great Resignation and COVID and everything that we've been through, where employees had a lot of power, and I think now employers are expecting that's going to shift back to their direction. We're starting to already see some layoffs getting announced just in the recent days. Walmart and Ford both announced layoffs, I think, at their corporate level.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a shift of power happening, perhaps.
How much of a savings could a company get by trimming maternity leave or paternity leave? Is there do you target a percentage of a person's cost?
Well, if you look at what Hulu's doing, they're going from 20 weeks of paid leave down to 12, so they're trimming 8 weeks. And that is many thousands of dollars. If you just make a little bit of with a little bit of intelligent guesswork around what an employee costs, they're saving thousands of dollars weekly. Really, is the potential there. So if they can trim this benefit and save $25,000, which is a little bit of a rough number, but probably not too far off of reality, that's the decision some employers are making. Other employers are prioritizing this and choosing to look toward other things to trim costs, like 401k matches.
We're speaking with Paul Seegert, managing partner at PCS Advisors. We're talking about how more companies are beginning to trim parental leave. So typically, if you are an employee, are you grandfathered in, or this can happen if a company chooses, say, January 1 or immediately? How does it work?
It can be done immediately. They're going to get the right advice on how to do this kind of thing, but they just have to treat everyone equally in the way that they behave and make sure they're not accidentally stepping into a discriminatory situation, but they can do it immediately.
How does it work with paternity leave, since I'm assuming that's not as popular as, say, paid maternity leave?
It's not, but it's grown quite a bit. In 2020, you had 53% of employers were providing additional maternity leave, maybe above and beyond what was required by their local areas. It's not all. Some states do, some states don't. But believe it or not, 44% were providing paternity leave, and now those numbers have fallen to 35% and 27% respectively.
So is this a benefit that typically ebbs and flows like this, depending on the nature of the economy, or a company's books, financial books, I guess?
Yes, I think that's really the critical factor, which is why it's grown for such a stretch of time as the economy's grown, with the exception of the last big period of tough economic times in 08, 09.
If you're an employee, then, do you need to be concerned?
Well, you may have to factor in additional costs for childcare and other things sooner than you would have. I think other interesting factors to consider in this post-COVID employment world is the fact that not all states have a maternity benefit.
Thanks, Paul. Paul Seegert, managing partner at PCS Advisors.